Taiwan, I'm Laurel Stewart with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan People's Party founder Wen-je is pleading not guilty to charges of corruption. In a heated day at court, Ke said there's a smear campaign against him. But as John Van Trieste reports, the court has not yet decided whether to grant him bail or keep him in detention.
After almost 200 days of near-constant detention, Taiwan People's Party founder Wen-je arrives, hidden from public view, for his day in court. And those who watch the proceedings say it is an intense hearing. A day after the government watchdog fined Ke over $100,000 and seized $1.7 million in assets over unlawful transactions related to his run for president, prosecutors here say Ke was also involved in a corrupt real estate development deal during his earlier days as Taipei mayor. And they want Ke imprisoned for 28.5 years. But Ke and his co-defendants in the real estate case have pled not guilty. Ke says prosecutors, political rivals, and some in the media are out to stain his reputation. He says one prosecutor even tried to blackmail him into admitting guilt. And Ke's supporters say he's the victim of political persecution.
因为阿贝啊，提了非常多我们之前不晓得的事情。他说他本来关在里面7个月啊，他后来看了卷宗以后，他才发现他被冤枉了。他今天是一个反击的开始。
Even simple facts are in dispute, though. Prosecutors say Ke took meetings with representatives of a shopping mall looking for a favor and approved documents for them. Witnesses say Ke angrily called these accusations false. It was a draining 6 hours in court, with Ke's family in attendance, and proceedings having to stop twice when emotions ran too high. But this is far from the end of Ke's case, with the court yet to decide on whether to extend his detention for 2 more months. In a year of fraught political tensions, few are likely to be more contentious than this. Luffy Lee and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The main opposition Kuomintang's Tainan office has been searched by prosecutors. Party officials are accused of falsifying signatures on petitions to recall ruling party lawmakers.
反正只要有联署，国民党都会造假作弊，尤其这种死人联署的，已经发生非常多起。那这一次呢，我们绝不姑息。
Aside from using dead residents' names, the KMT is also accused of committing identity fraud and using signatures from outside their voting district. Prosecutors questioned 5 people and confiscated documents and mobile phones. KMT officials say the accusations are politically motivated.
每天动用府院党所有的资源，启动所谓的大罢免。伫遮洪坑清顶遐一句话，好好啊做代志，唔通牛条内伫咧搭牛母啦。
Supporters of the KMT and DPP have launched mass recall campaigns against each other's lawmakers. President Lai Ching-te says he wants to increase pay for career soldiers. The announcement comes as Taiwan wraps up 5 days of military drills. Jaime Ocon was there.
For the past 5 days, Taiwan's military has been conducting a new kind of exercise in which it tests how quickly its armed forces can mobilize against an attack from China. Those drills come to an end with a final inspection from President Lai Ching-te on how Marines would protect Songshan Air Force Base, which sits here in the capital city of Taipei.
This group of soldiers is known as the 66th Brigade, and they were recently deployed to defend Songshan Airport, which not only operates as a civilian airfield, but also as a military base. This week's nationwide rapid response drills were the first of its kind, as President Lai Ching-te signals more investments into military reform and strategy. That includes plans to increase salaries for career soldiers.
我要强调，调整国军待遇是一个长期的进程，要经过严谨的讨论，绝不是漫天喊价。我也希望在野党重新思考 动山国防预算的影响，给予国军官士兵最大的支持。
On top of the pay raise, Taiwan has also been leaning more towards a robust asymmetric defense strategy, which means using smaller, more lethal weapons that can be moved around easily. Weapons like the US-made Stinger and Javelin, and Taiwan's domestically made Kestrel rocket launcher. The hope is that using these weapons, in combination with more realistic training, will help Taiwan stand up to aggression from neighboring China. Across Taiwan, various units are now returning home and preparing for the next large-scale military drill, which is set for July.
Officials here say they plan to conduct these rapid response exercises at least twice a year, with the goal of getting better at protecting Taiwan and responding more quickly and effectively from threats from China. Chris Ma and Jaime Ocon in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
A black tie dinner with a hefty side of geopolitics as Taiwan announces a deal to invest in a multi-billion-dollar natural gas pipeline in the US state of Alaska. The announcement at a key annual business event in Taipei could reshape the future of the country's energy security and perhaps its ties with Washington. Chris Gorin was there.
It's one of the most important nights on Taiwan's business calendar, an annual dinner in Taipei hosted by the American Chamber of Commerce in Taiwan, where business leaders from around the world rub elbows with officials from both countries. But the star of the show wasn't a person, but a pipeline for LNG, liquefied natural gas.
The Trump administration is especially eager to share our LNG resources with close partners, including through the completion of the Alaska North Slope LNG project.
The pipeline, which has been pushed since President Trump took office in January, aims to sell Alaska's LNG to Asia.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner.
The $44 billion project would stretch 1,300 kilometers across the northern state. The gas it produced would then be shipped to some of the world's largest gas importers, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. And the night saw Taiwan's national oil company, CPC, announce its intent to invest in the project and buy its LNG.
We are very interested in buying Alaska natural gas because it can meet our needs and ensure our energy security.
The Alaska LNG pipeline is not merely a project. It is a symbol of our commitment to each other's success and economic security.
Taiwan is aiming to get 50% of its power from gas this year, as it transitions away from both coal and nuclear power. Taiwan is the first Asian country to commit to Alaska's LNG project, a crucial deal for a costly undertaking that's faced criticism over its price tag. And hanging over the night's optimism are the unfinished trade and tax deals mentioned by both President Lai and the Chamber's leader.
There's real momentum to solve double taxation, a long-standing AmCham advocacy priority, and there is light at the end of that tunnel. We will continue to urge the U.S. and Taiwan to reach an agreement that strengthens business ties.
But the night's only representative for Washington made no mention of either trade or tax. Trump remains skeptical of trade deals. So will Taiwan's huge investments in the U.S. win him over?
It's one of the many questions weighing on those gathered here for this dinner. We're all hoping they've been served the ingredients for better economic ties. Justin Wu and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is standing by its decision to revoke the residency of Chinese influencer Yaya, pointing to videos where she proposed unifying Taiwan with China by force. Taipei officials say such messages are unacceptable. Joyce Sung reports.
It's a hard no for Chinese influencer Yaya and her quest to keep her Taiwanese residency after Taipei revoked it for her public videos that propose unification with China by military force.
也许明天早上醒来，宝岛上已经插满了五星红旗，想想都让人开心。
It's a message that's drawn widespread criticism in Taiwan, a self-ruled country where most people identify as Taiwanese, but Beijing has repeatedly threatened to invade it. Yaya, who posted her content on Chinese social media platform Douyin to almost 450,000 followers, had gained the right to live in Taiwan by marrying a Taiwanese citizen. Taiwan's main government body dealing with cross-strait affairs with China is standing by the move to revoke her residency and the order for her to leave Taiwan within 10 days.
它里面的有没有在鼓吹武统？我想，但这个就不用辩论。这位刘正雅，他是提出武统的言论。 这个是涉及我们这个绝对不能容许的原则。
Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has also been doubling down on combating Chinese infiltration of the country, with new national security measures against what Lai says is a foreign hostile force amid cases of China-linked espionage in Taiwan's military and pressure on Taiwanese entertainers to take a pro-China stance to tap into its lucrative market. As for Yaya, the influencer is trying to appeal her order to leave, saying her family is at stake.
我只希望我能够留在台湾陪我的小孩，因为3个小孩真的很难切割，我不希望说弄到最后母子分离这样。
Taiwan says public messages that pose harm to national security and social stability are judged for their severity case by case, but says something as far as proposing a Chinese military takeover, a clear red line that harms Taiwan and the freedom it's working to protect. Andy Xue and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese citizens are among those being investigated amid heightened attention to Chinese infiltration. Currently, about 40 people are being investigated over suspected public messaging that supports China's claims to Taiwan or acts that harm national security. Meanwhile, some citizens have had their household registrations revoked.
在查证中的对象呢，到目前为止大约是40多人，已经通报给户政事务所，并且废止当事人户籍者有14个人。
The cabinet is set to meet next week to draw up strategies to see through President Lai Ching-te's new national security measures to combat Chinese influence. Taiwan's central bank has decided to keep interest rates unchanged for the 4th quarter in a row. The bank has adopted a wait-and-see approach to the economic impacts of US President Donald Trump's tariffs. Trump has threatened to impose levies on Taiwan's key semiconductor exports. The central bank's policies seek to keep inflation in check, with policymakers concerned over potential electricity price hikes later this year. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says that Russia will break any peace deal with Ukraine if it's not defended by the international community.
We know one thing for certain, which is a deal without anything behind it is something that Putin will breach. Therefore, what you're doing here today is vitally important to peace and security across Europe and for our NATO allies and, of course, crucially, for the United Kingdom.
Starmer made the comments at a meeting with military leaders from more than 25 countries, the latest in a series of discussions between international powers on how to maintain peace in Ukraine if a deal is made. The UK and France have been leading Western efforts after US President Donald Trump opened talks with Russian leader Vladimir Putin in a move that shocked Europe. The impact of the climate crisis reached new heights last year, according to a UN report. The World Meteorological Organization's Global Climate Report shows 2024 was the warmest year on record. It was also likely the first year that the average temperature reached 1.5 degrees Celsius higher than the pre-industrial era. That's considered a red line for avoiding the worst effects of climate change. The organization's data shows over 150 unprecedented extreme weather events, taking lives, demolishing buildings, and destroying vital crops. More than 800,000 people were displaced or made homeless as a result. That's the highest annual number since records began. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this Tomorrowland music festival stage playing in the French Alps. I'm Laurel Stewart. Take care and see you next time. Big bada boom, bada bada bada.